Just days after the first commercial flight from the United Arab Emirates to Israel, Ambassador Friedman addressed the future of the Abraham Accords.
It seems to be coming to a crescendo. President Trump has said maybe 10 nations are in line. What's next, and who's next?
Well, you can pull out a map and come up with some pretty good guesses as to who's next. I think all the regional players are in discussion. I don't want to speak for them or betray any confidences or their sensitivities, but the president is correct. There are 5 to 10 countries that are in active discussions with us. They have everything to gain by joining this circle of peace. They have nothing to lose.
Looking at the impact of the Abraham Accords on the region, what do you see in a year, 2, 5 years? What could change here in the region?
Look, I think we are at the beginning of the end of the Arab-Israeli conflict. You have so many people that are already on board. It just, the narrative, the old grievances kind of collapses on itself. And I think we're really at the beginning of a very hopeful period in the Middle East.
As an observant Jew, Ambassador Friedman often looks at the Middle East through the lens of the Bible.
The original Abraham Accords was the reconciliation between Isaac and Ishmael. Isaac was the second son of Abraham. Ishmael was the first. They were rivals. And Isaac and Ishmael reconciled before Abraham passed away. And we're doing that again 3,500 years later. And I think that that's an appropriate Bible story, Bible lesson for today.
Former Vice President Biden and Senator Harris have said that if they're elected, they would renew the Iranian nuclear deal. What impact could that have on Israel and the region?
It will be a complete disaster. Iran is a very dangerous country. We have made Iran far less dangerous than they were 4 years ago. And they're pulling back. They will continue to pull back, I believe, if we keep the sanctions on. The worst thing we can do right now when we have them on the ropes is to let the pressure off.
When you look back on the last 4 years, what achievements stand out to you?
I think that moving the embassy to Jerusalem, right here, this is my office in our Jerusalem embassy, I think that was really the most important thing the president did, not just because we all believe that Jerusalem's the capital of Israel. It's the message that the move sent to the world, that President Trump stands with his friends, stands on principle, keeps a promise, and it resonated throughout the world. And I believe that it set our foreign policy on the right track everywhere. It may seem counterintuitive to people, but we believe this would lead to peace, and it did.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News at the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem.